This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Adyar Punga yet to get a go-ahead from the Environment Ministry. Prime Minister not to inaugurate the park as announced earlier. Main opposition in the state gears up for the assembly elections. AIADMK General Council to meet today. A day's visit by the Election Commission and there could be a lot considered, but the body warns of a harsh crackdown on money distribution.
There will be a very tight money control.
Meanwhile, Jayalalitha has plenty on her agenda this assembly polls. She's in conversation with more than one party for a partnership. And an international touchdown at Guangzhou and New Delhi, Chennai's Buji hopes to raise his bar.
I think I've put in a lot of hard work, so I'm going to try and get better, try and improve, and hopefully crack the top 75, top 50 by the end of the year.
Good evening and welcome to the news tonight with me, Evelyn Matthew. Well, a thing of beauty from the wastelands of Chennai was meant to be declared in a few days' time, but a walk in the park and the Environment Ministry has not been pleased with it. We discuss the Punga politics tonight and whether the technicalities are really to be blamed. First up, also the national headlines. The Sri Krishna report reaches the hands of the centre, which will be made public on the 6th of January. Chidambaram calls political parties for a sitting. Has the PAC chairman fallen in line with his party? After meeting his boss, Murli Manohar Joshi says he's committed to GPC. After the CBI's closure report, the heartbroken parents of Arushi Talwar say they will not give up their fight for justice. Post the public snail mail wars, the Home Minister calls Bengal's Chief Minister for a meeting to discuss the situation in the state. And a finger injury forces punter out of the final Ashes test. Well, Mission Show Alliance strength is going awfully wrong for the DMK. Clearly, the Deputy Chief Minister's pet project, Adyar Punga, has now hit a roadblock. The Environment Ministry has not given its clearance for the construction of the park, bringing the proposed high-profile inauguration on the 3rd of January to a halt. That means the Chief Minister and the Prime Minister will not be sharing stage, something that the DMK was looking forward to post the 2G's fiasco. The past few weeks have seen a lot of uncertainty over the DMK Congress alliance, thanks mainly to the 2G spectrum scam and Amma's not too subtle overtures to the Congress. Even Rahul Gandhi, on his visit to the state last week, gave a miss to meeting the grand old man of the DMK, with dissenting voices against an alliance with the DMK even within the Congress. This inauguration miss by the Prime Minister is now being seen as an inauspicious sign by many. Well, is this Environment Ministry's no just a reason for the Congress to snub the DMK, or is the Punga just another tool in the hands of political parties to reach their ends? That is, of course, the big question at this hour. So what is the topography of the Adyar Punga, this eco park on a wetland in the heart of Chennai, which was to have been the DMK's showpiece in the new year? Why has this green endeavour met with a red signal? The Ministry of Environment and Forests says that the area falls under the CRZ-1, while the Tamil Nadu government claims it is CRZ-2. If it is the latter category, development activities are permitted. The ministry says it has asked the Tamil Nadu government to revert with full details. However, the project was had begun 3 years ago when the 58-acre area was a dump yard. Today, it is of course touted as Chennai's green lung space. And joining us live right now to really detail and discuss in detail the real technicalities and whether they'd really qualify to be used as a reason by the political party. Joining us live is Ms. Shweta Narayanan, an environmentalist. First off, Ms. Shweta, in this whole crisis around the Adyar Punga now, looks like the cause of the environment is being used to score political points, especially considering that the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly elections are soon here, don't you think?
Yes, I would agree to that, because the problem about Adyar Punga and the fact that it's an illegal project because it does not have environment clearance has been raised for the last 2 years, and surprisingly no action has been taken until now. And it's also surprising that, I mean, we totally welcome this move of the Prime Minister, that he has finally stood up for the environment and is not condoning a project because it, the fact that it does not have environment clearance. But we want to raise another question with him that, a few months ago he had inaugurated the Madra-Voil corridor project, and that Madra-Voil corridor project also does not have a CRZ clearance. So how come, at that time everything was fine, and now suddenly environment clearance becomes so important that, Prime Minister just decides that he will not associate himself with that project. So definitely there are political reasons, as we read in the newspapers. The unfortunate part is that environment has become, a tool between parties to score points, and that's the most unfortunate thing, because we are losing the message somewhere. Environmental violations are very serious violations, and they have to be acted upon promptly. And I mean, you cannot use environment as a tool to score political points over each other.
Ms. But the fact is that already the taxpayers earning totaling to around 15 crore rupees has been spent on this pet project. So all are only hoping that this does deliver soon enough. From this point on, what really can be looked on as a solution?
Why not? Why the project should not be scrapped? I mean, this is completely, I mean, an illegality has been committed. And the ministry has complete powers. I mean, look at what ministry has done. It has stayed projects in when it comes to Vedanta and Orissa. I mean, why can't the project be scrapped? And in fact, what needs to be done is action. Strict action has to be taken on people who've been responsible for executing this project, knowing very well that this was an illegal project. And in this time that, public money cannot be wasted just because something has been started, and even though it's illegal, it has to be continued. This is no reason. A law has been violated and action has to be taken. Appropriate legal action has to be taken. And people who have violated that law have to be made accountable.
Right, those need to be accountable. Thanks very much indeed, Ms. Shweta, for joining us live from your residence there and giving us those inputs where clearly she thinks that those who are accountable must be brought to book. So what is the real topography of the Adyar Punga? This is, of course, a former wetland in the heart of Chennai, and it was supposed to be the showpiece in this new year. But why the sudden change of plan? Is the Punga really straying restricted territory? Why has this green endeavor met with a red signal? Cuckoo Alex gets you those answers.
Is Prime Minister Manmohan Singh avoiding the Adyar Punga inaugural in Chennai because of the politically charged scenario in the backdrop of Spectrum scam? Or is it purely a matter of environment clearance? Days before the official inauguration by the Prime Minister, it is official. He will not inaugurate the Punga, although he would still be sharing the dais with Karunanidhi at the Indian Science Congress event in Chennai on January 3rd. The Punga was Deputy Chief Minister Stalin's pet project. The Ministry of Environment and Forests says the area falls under Coastal Regulation Zone 1, while Tamil Nadu government claims it is CRZ 2. If it is the latter category, development activities are permitted. The Environment Ministry says it has asked the Tamil Nadu government to revert with full details. However, the project was begun 3 years ago, when the 58-acre area was a dump yard. Today, it is touted as Chennai's green lung, created at a cost of 15 crore rupees. The aim? To turn it into a green arbour. The timing of the Environment Ministry is suspect, say some. But before you dismiss this as a technicality, here's what critics say. The eco-park cannot get a green signal when there are multiple problems within it.
The tide should reach right till the end of this Punga area. No serious effort has been taken to make that happen. There are two bottlenecks. One is at this Santham Causeway. Another is at the Srinivasapuram broken bridge. The water is not really going through, the high tide is not really going through. We feel a disproportionate amount of landscaping has taken place, and the excavated debris has been dumped on the side and high mounds have been created. Now the undertaking before court is 90% of the creek would be restored as a wetland tidal creek, Right now, I don't think more than 40-50% has been cleared.
Whatever the reasons or concerns, the fact is the restoration project could not have started without a clearance to go ahead with it.
Whoever has executed this project with the knowledge that it is illegal project should be held accountable for this. But public money cannot now be justified for something that has been illegal. This is an illegal project, and we cannot continue to go on with this pass and put public money in something that is fundamentally wrong.
Experts say the Punga may turn into a haven for wetland birds, but the larger issue of the coastal regulation zone remains. In Chennai, Kuku Alex for NDTV Hindu.
Well, it still hangs in the balance. Still ahead on the bulletin, the calculations have begun in the AIA-DMK camp. Jayalalitha steps on the accelerator for the big showdown.